On to woman.
Papa!
Who is he, Papa?
His name is Max. He needs help.
Are you hiding from Hitler?
Yeah, I'm a Jew.
I brought you something.
You're full of wonders.
You're stealing books?
Why? When life robs you, sometimes you have to rob it back.
We're back on the Drew Pearson Show with the wonderful talent behind the film The Book Thief, which is definitely my favorite films of the year. The subject matter is really tough, but it's handled in such a wonderful, delicate way, and that must have been what attracted you guys to the material.
Yeah, they were the stories I knew growing up, and I heard a lot of little stories about my mum and dad growing up in Germany and Austria in that time period, and I just sort of cobbled them together. I thought it would be a 100-page novel that would really mean something to me, or novella, and it just turned into a 500-page book that means everything to me. So I was surprised right from the beginning, and then now there's this beautiful surprise, this gift of a film.
Absolutely. And the material must have been refreshing for you as well.
There are some extreme ends of the spectrum, flamboyant kind of characters, and the rhythm and the tempo of this seemingly very simple, working class house painter guy in a small, quiet town in Germany who had such a wonderful empathy for other people, and just that rhythm was a nice, imaginative place that I wanted to kind of challenge myself with.
This had to have been a lot for you to take on.
When I auditioned, I actually didn't want the part because I was doing gymnastics and my dream was to go to the Olympics. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to audition. But I auditioned really just for fun, thinking anyways I'm never going to get the part. And going to my second audition, I read the script in the plane. And it was the first time that a script would make me cry. And I loved the script and the whole story. I just thought it was amazing. And I just felt like I had to do the movie because it was on a subject that we don't know enough, like my generation. So I thought if I do it, all my friends would go and see it, and I think that people my age have to know a bit more about it. And then I went to my third audition, and I got the part, and I was so happy when I got the part, and it was just an interesting role because also, like I said, it's a subject and it's a time period that I've never experienced it before. So I had to do a little of research, and the research was something that I could learn a lot from, and I just thought that was really interesting.
And you two had never worked together or even were familiar with each other's work, correct?
I actually am sorry, but I had no idea who he was. I've only seen him in The Pirates, and even then I didn't know he was the one playing in The Pirates. So,
Did you think I was the monkey?
But then I watched The Shine, and I thought he was just amazing, and his performance really blew me away. And I just felt really honored to play with such a great actor. I have to say I was a bit scared that he would be as crazy as he is in Shine, but he's not at all. He was so fun to work with, and I was really happy when I got to work with him.
I just thought of this before. Can you remember, because I'd seen Monsieur Lazare and I knew she was great, at that performance for a 10-year-old actress. I thought it was just unbelievable. So rich and so nuanced and emotionally honest and everything. And then we met at Babelsberg and did maybe 10 days rehearsal. But because your memory, I know, is so much better than mine, to the point where sometimes if I was a little shaky on my lines, even on set, you would prompt me and go in the rehearsals and go, "No, Jeffrey, this is what you say now. That's from another scene." Can you remember our actual very first meeting?
I do. He was coming out of the hotel, and I've been Googling.
Well, it sounds like I was in there drinking. I wasn't.
No. I've seen him on Google with his crazy hair, and I was like, ooh.
Was this the Concorde? Or?
And he was coming out of the
no, I do
hotel. No,
remember
please,
now.
I'm telling the story now. And then,
Fill it in.
and then he was walking out of the hotel, and I was going. And actually, when I see people, I don't really want to meet them, so I just, even when I saw her, I was like, Mom, just walk by. Nobody's never gonna notice me. But then he kind of bumped into me, and I said, oh, I'm the girl that's gonna play Lisa. And he's like, oh, okay. That's it. He said, oh, okay. And then he said, well, have a nice day. And he went into his car and left. And I was really, he has a really weird voice. It's an interesting type of voice. It's not in a mean way. But he's really speaking like deep. And I was a bit scared. And that's the only thing he said. So I was like, oh, we're not going to have a nice time if he's speaking as much as that. But no, after the second day we rehearsed, and he was great, fantastic.
I didn't realize you were so intimidating, Jeffrey.
No, I'm not. I remember now. I can remember that exactly. At the
With
time.
Katerina.
Yeah. Well, I think we were heading off to do hair and makeup tests or something. Sorry for being deep and blunt.
That's okay.
So there you have it. No, but we played. We didn't have an acting coach to help us bond. We got into rehearsals and we played games, and I think Emily and I, to a certain degree in the early days, just kept a bit of an eye on Soph, particularly when we got onto the set. Is she feeling good? And because she was racing off to fit in her schoolwork as well. She had a massive part, a role that requires huge kind of reserves for an actress of any age. But she was fine, and it was reciprocal, because the kind of work she was doing on camera in some of the early scenes, we just found we were responding very naturally to the generosity of what she was giving out, and we felt as though the family was coming together just at the right rate in the story.
I can't lose you.
You've kept me alive, Lisa. Don't ever forget that.
Mom.
Words are life, Lisa. If your eyes could speak, what would they say?
There once was a girl who had a friend that lived in the shadows. She would remind him how the sun felt on his skin and what the air felt like to breathe. And that reminded her that she was still alive. Good night, book thief.